Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is sort of going to be on 3 different topics, but they all have to do with surviving the first month as a new parent. I wanted to talk about some of my favorites for the baby, some things that have been super helpful for postpartum recovery, and then also just like some mental changes and I guess like mentality shifts that have helped me. So I'm 7 weeks postpartum. So obviously I'm still very much in the thick of this newborn phase, so I'm no expert by any means, but that first month was definitely a shock to my system and definitely very overwhelming for me. And there were just a lot of things that I wasn't expecting. So I wanted to kind of talk about all of that while it's fresh in my mind. And you might hear Charlie because he's sleeping over here right now. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about are sort of the changes that you have to make in your mentality during that first month. So overall, I would say the first month is just about survival. You definitely want to set very, very low expectations about what you'll be able to accomplish in addition to taking care of your newborn in that first month. In fact, if I could go back, I would just take that entire first month off from YouTube, from my store, from housework, from everything, and just make my sole focus learning the new baby and taking care of him. I personally thought that I would be able to get a lot more done than I have been able to, and it's made me feel like I'm failing, whereas I think that my expectations were just set too high. I thought, you know, 1 baby is not that hard to take care of, and they're gonna be sleeping all the time, so I'll have plenty of time to do pretty much everything that I used to do, just maybe a little less. I was completely naive about how much work it is to take care of a newborn. I didn't understand that, you know, some babies like mine, he has reflux, and so he was just fussy and gassy all the time. I didn't know anything about like cluster feeding. I didn't know how hard breastfeeding was gonna be. So anyway, you just wanna have your expectations very, very low and just kind of expect that the first month, everything else in your life is gonna kind of go down the toilet and you're just gonna be focusing on the new baby. You also wanna make sure that you have someone with you who can help you, whether it be your husband, your mom, your sister, your a friend. If there's anyone who can stay with you and help you, you're gonna need extra help, especially if you have difficult recovery, like a C-section recovery, which is what I had. The next mentality shift, I would say, is to take it 1 day at a time and don't extrapolate what happens today. So I kind of freaked out, and I think a lot of new moms freak out in the early days or the early weeks. You think that the way that things are right now is the way that they're gonna be forever, and you're just like, but the reality is that first month is like, you're in the trenches. It's very, very difficult, but it's going to get easier. And like I said, I'm only 7 weeks postpartum, so that first month was only 3 weeks ago, but things have already gotten so much better since then. So definitely, like, don't assume that the way things are right now is the way that they're always going to be, because you will like panic and freak yourself out. Any bit of free time that you have, use it to take care of yourself. And so this is where, like I was saying before with expectations, don't worry about the house, don't worry about work, don't worry about any of that. And literally, if you do have some time, like he is asleep or you have someone else who can help you, use that time to take care of yourself. Take a shower, you know, take your time and eat a nice, like, healthy meal. These are all things that I wish I would have done. If you let that kind of stuff go, you're no help to anyone, because you're not gonna have the energy or just the like mental capacity. You're just not gonna be a very happy person. All right, so now let's get into some products that have been super, super helpful for me. These are just products that like made things easier for us. So the first thing I have to mention is the Rock and Play. This was something that a lot of you guys recommended to me. I didn't think that I needed it because I felt like I already had a bassinet. There was a little rocker that came on our Pack and Play. But the Rock and Play has been a game changer, a lifesaver for us. I wish we would have gotten it earlier. The bottom of it has this nice inclined shape that doesn't cause his head to be squished down like that, like our other rocker does, but it also keeps him elevated enough that he doesn't get the reflux, the like gas as much. Like it's more comfortable for him than it is to lay completely flat. And then if you live in a 2-story house, I would also recommend the pack and play, because for us it's just nice having that like changing table area and stuff down here as well as upstairs, so we don't have to be running up and down the steps all the time. And the pack and play is also nice because we will be able to use it as he grows too. Okay, I lowered this so that you can see him better. So the rock and play and the pack and play. If you live in a 1-story house, probably don't even really need the pack and play. The next thing is swaddles. So I'm talking swaddles as in the kind that either zip up or that have the Velcro snaps. Those for us work a lot better than swaddling in a blanket because he will bust right out of that pretty easy. So I would definitely recommend getting like those swaddle sacks or like a halo swaddle. We also really love the arms reach, or is that what it's called? Arms up swaddles, which I've talked about a few times. I'll have links to everything that I'm talking about below. So there is a program or a video, I don't remember where I saw it, but it's called The Happiest Baby on the Block, and I would definitely recommend watching that. They break it down into like 5 things that will help calm your baby and help them to get to sleep better. The main 3 that we have used is the swaddle, so that's what I was just mentioning. The other thing is a pacifier. Our favorite pacifiers are these, I think they're called Soothies. They're blue. I'll link to them, like I said. A lot of times a pacifier will just like calm him down when he's trying to get to sleep. The next thing I would recommend is a white noise machine. You can find a lot of different kinds of these, but basically ours is like battery powered, so we can carry it around with us everywhere, and it just makes like that staticky sound and it instantly puts him to sleep. In fact, well, I guess it doesn't instantly put him to sleep, but it instantly calms him down. But anyway, there have also been times where like he personally hates his car seat, and there have been times in the car when he started just screaming because he wanted out of there, and there's nothing you can do when you're driving. So we literally put the white noise like up to his ear, and he just immediately calms down. It's crazy how well that works. So I would recommend getting a white noise machine, and then also download the white noise app on your phone for when you're out of the house. The other thing is muslin blankets. So I've got one right here. These are really great, especially if you have your baby in the summertime like we did, because they're really lightweight. And so I love this kind that I got from Little Unicorn, and they came in a pack of 3. I might order more actually, because with laundry and everything, they yawning. You know, it's just nice to have as many as possible, but they're a really great size. They're not too heavy, like I said, so you don't have to worry about him like getting overheated or anything. And then the last like newborn first month must have is a baby carrier. Now, if you have a C-section like I did, you might not be able to use a baby carrier. Like I felt like it was a little uncomfortable on my incision, but it does really work. And like now that I'm, like I said, 7 weeks postpartum, I'm gonna try getting ours back out again and trying it again, because babies just love to be held close. And that's a really easy way that you can do it, but still have like your arms free to do other things. So the 2 that we have a Solly wrap, and we also have an Ergo. I would say if you only are gonna get one, go with the Ergo. It's a little easier to figure out. I've heard that it's also more supportive, like as the baby gets bigger. Okay, now let's move on to postpartum survival stuff. Things might be different for what you need if you don't have a C-section. So I mentioned in my video on like what to bring to the hospital that I would recommend getting these Depends silhouette adult diapers for like the postpartum bleeding. And so I definitely wanted to make sure I mention that again on here, because those were just a lifesaver to me, and so much easier than having to fuss with like the mesh underwear and the pads and all of that kind of stuff. From there, I got the C-section underwear, which I also mentioned in that other video. It's like high-waisted, so I'll leave a link for that as well. Also, stool softener and Benefiber, both, yeah. A lot of people swear by the belly bands and the compression belts and things like that. I have not tried those yet, and so that might be something worth looking into, but for me, just that high-waisted underwear felt like enough. Okay, so as far as postpartum clothes, my favorite things to wear have been nursing dresses or nursing nightgowns if you're just gonna be around the house. things that are easy for nursing that like snap up and down. High-waisted leggings, even some of my maternity clothes have been really helpful during postpartum as well. So, you know, if you have maternity clothes that still feel comfortable, just wear that. Basically, anything that just doesn't have a waistband that hits you right on your incision, because that does not feel good. Don't worry about looking cute. Don't worry about wearing denim or jeans or anything like that. Just keep it comfortable for sure. That's like the most important thing. Nipple cream, like this lanolin cream, is super important. Breast pads, I didn't understand how much I would be like leaking milk, and breast pads are crucial. Otherwise it's gonna just like, you're gonna be soaking wet all the time with milk. Also, nursing bras and nursing tank tops, both of those are really helpful. I would also say a must-have for me has been a pump and bottles, because there have been times where my like boobs have gotten so sore that I've had to just take a break and just go to pumping for a little while. And in the beginning I was so engorged that like he didn't even want to latch on, and so a pump, it's just really, really nice to have a pump. I would definitely recommend getting one. Also, a boppy is super helpful in the beginning with breastfeeding, and even later with breastfeeding. It helps your posture because you don't have to bend down so far. Oh, another thing that I got just a week or two ago, I think a couple weeks ago, was I got a pack of 2 of these. They're like TV trays, or trays that go next to the couch or whatever, and the legs are like an L shape, so they really slide close. And that, I've got like 2 of them. I've got one on each side of my chair. And that has just been so helpful for, you know, because you end up nursing a lot and just sitting in the same spot a lot. And for me, like, I'll start to go kind of crazy. I can't do any work, or like, and also you just need a lot of things with you, like your water bottle and snacks and things like that. So these tables are, I would say, a must-have, and they've been a game changer for me. And then the last thing, this might seem really simple, but a notebook and a pen to keep next to you, and to, especially to log the times of things. So this isn't something that I did early on, and I wish that I would have, and I would recommend that you do it. Everything time-wise kind of starts to blend together, and if you can make a note of like when the baby goes to sleep, when they wake up, when they eat, how long they eat for, or how many ounces, you might think to yourself, oh, I'll remember that he ate at 11 o'clock, but you forget. Like, there's just so much to try to keep track of. It also makes it easier if you start to notice an issue, like a lot of fussiness or some type of change that you want to talk to the doctor about. If you don't really have that stuff written down so that you can like notice patterns and stuff, it's gonna be harder for the doctor and for you to figure out what's going on. Whereas if you can look back and go, okay, every day at this time this happens, or he's only napping for 10 minutes at a time, or whatever, you know, you have like that data. If you're in like the first month postpartum, the first month of being a new parent, and everyone keeps saying like, savor every second and it goes so fast, like I wish I was back at that time, like don't let people who say stuff like that make you feel guilty. The first month as a new parent is freaking hard, and I don't care what anyone says. It's hard, it's crazy, it's overwhelming. Your hormones are going crazy. I just felt like I was crying a lot. I know a lot of new moms feel like they're crying a lot, and you're stressed, and like I just felt like when people would say that to me, I was just like, oh great, now I have guilt on top of everything else, because it makes you feel like guilty for not enjoying every single second. But you're not gonna enjoy every single second. Like, it's hard, and that doesn't mean that you don't love your baby, you know? But I think people say that because they're remembering it through the lens of where they are right now, and they're just remembering how cute the baby was, and they're not remembering the reality of when they first became new parents and didn't know what they were doing, and like life was so hectic and crazy. Like, I had never, well, I guess I had changed diapers before, but I had never really taken care of a newborn, and so it was just all very shocking to me. Are you looking at the camera? But yeah, I just want to give you that encouragement. If you are a first-time mom in the first month, just know that it gets so much better, and just take it really easy on yourself and hang in there, and because before long, the baby is like smiling at you. Like, Charlie has started smiling now at me in the mornings, and like just when I make silly faces and stuff, and even just that little change has made things so much easier because you're getting a little bit of feedback. Any other moms who have advice, please leave them in the comments so that other people will see them, and that'll be helpful as well, because everybody's different and what was helpful for me might not have been helpful for you. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Sleepy. Oh, so sleepy.